Good morning. Welcome to Alexandra and Friends. Thank you so much for attending our show every Saturday on the first and last Saturday of the month. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate your attendance, and we're looking forward for you to let us know how you like our show. And if you have any comments, please give us a call. Thank you for this wonderful morning. It's a beautiful day. Good morning, Elena. How are you?
Good morning.
It's Michelle.
Shalom,
Shalom.
shalom.
Morning. Shalom.
Yes.
We're going to take just a second, if we can, for the Pledge of Allegiance, and we have our producer today is Tavion. He's an amazing young man, and we appreciate him very much. G is out on vacation, and Michael Clark is out on vacation too.
Hi,
Michael.
Michael.
Hello, Michael. We miss you so much. So, having said all this, let's take a minute for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
God, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you. That was a wonderful. I just love the kiddos. They're, you know, when I say kiddos, we started 4 years ago. Now, this 4 year ago, the 12 are 16, the 16 is 18. I mean, it's just amazing. So we have to bring them to the stage one day.
Yes, do it live.
Do it live. Yes. Well, good morning. We have an exciting show today. It's smelling good today.
Oh my
Smelling
goodness.
good.
Yes.
So good morning, Michelle. So tell us what's going on and what's up.
Good morning. Oh, well, I had a wonderful week. My best friend came in town on Wednesday.
I see her here. Yes.
I'm showing her around a little bit. We went shopping and went out and to dinner and just enjoy each other.
And your grand opening.
And my
grand
grand
opening.
opening is November the 2nd. How exciting that is. Preparing to let the people know in Richardson, Texas. I moved from Arlington, Texas.
What's
Been
it?
there for 3 years. So the companies that are under Fame Entertainment is Joy Music and Movement, Schooling Talent, Princeton James Production, and Jubilee Production.
Oh my God.
So these, yes, this is all production,
So
media, talent development, outreach community. We, also have a performance team being inside of the schools, just doing art integration,
Yes.
bringing it to Richardson, Texas.
Love
You gotta
it.
come and join it.
And
We're
when
going to
is
be
the
doing
opening?
samples and stuff.
When is
of
your
what we
grand
do.
opening?
November the 2nd at 3:00. The address is 805 Business Parkway, Richardson, Texas.
And are you inviting the whole community to come?
Why not?
Yeah.
Because you'll come through, you'll see the classes we will present and how we train. And then you'll be able to see that. Then you'll also be able to see that you can rent Mason Hall. Mason Hall is my grandson I lost when he was 6 months, 6 months old. So Mason Hall is an event hall. And you come in, you can rent the event hall. We'll have shows in there. Artists be in there having their own shows. So there's a lot of great things.
Wow, we're so excited and so proud of you because I've known you for a long time, and I know this has been your dream. And when you dream and you wake up, and it becomes,
it becomes true.
It becomes true. A lot of people just dream, and they never wake up. You have to wake up to make it happen.
I like that.
Well, because when you dream, you're asleep, right?
Yeah.
You gotta wake up, and it's there. So whatever you dream, it has to become reality.
That's
So,
reality.
Well, we have an exciting show today, and I've got to tell you, Michelle,
Yes.
the young lady that's sitting to my left, Elena Glassman,
Yes.
she is a proud wife of our next guest.
Oh, that's what I heard.
I can tell you,
I
and I
know,
can smell
that's
it
what I
here.
heard.
I can smell the delicious food.
Can you imagine when she get in her kitchen at home?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Elena, what do you think?
Yeah.
What's cooking?
Well, I have the honor to introduce to y'all
Yeah.
my amazing husband, Chef Paul,
Oh,
and
she's
I've
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah.
I've been known as Chef Paul's wife for many years. Yes, and so that was my identity before. And Chef Paul was born and raised in New York City. And fast forward a little bit, he moved with two of his sisters to Washington, D.C., and that's how where he started his culinary career and training. And in Washington, D.C., he's worked at Congressional Country Club, where presidents and senators, congressmen are members, very exclusive. He
Mhm.
worked at some of the finest catering companies. And then he and I met at the Omni Shoreham Hotel. It's this historic hotel, one of the 6 official inaugural balls that every president, after their inauguration, they had to attend.
Whoa.
So
Wow.
we were at that hotel, and the rest is history. And then after 3 different states, I moved to Texas in 2000, and now he is the chef / food and beverage director at the 5-star quality, the Forum Senior Living
Very
in
good.
Dallas, Texas, where he's been there for over 17 years, I believe. And he specializes in the senior living community, anything and everything that has to do with food and beverage. But today, we're so excited to have him
So
here
excited.
to talk about him and his life, and of course, food is very important to us. And so we're just excited to meet Chef Paul.
Yes,
Chef.
awesome.
I'm so excited. Well, I did a little bit of review and I see that he attended one of the finest institutes, L'Academie de Cuisine, which is the top in Washington DC and Maryland area.
Really
So
is.
my husband was a culinary chef, so we had the opportunity of attending that for a big event. And we were in Washington, and it was an amazing. My husband was educated in Germany, but he thought that was and I said it. And you know, when chefs, the chefs cook from their heart.
Yes.
When you tell me you're a chef, you better know that you have to cook from the heart, because you have to love the passion of cooking. You have to love the passion. Not only that, but you don't only cook. You have to also work with the employees. You have to teach them. You have to. But you're not cooking, you're creating. It's not about cooking, it's about the creation of your meal. So I'm so excited, I can smell the food.
Yes. This is the very first cooking show on Alexandra and
Yes,
Friends.
yes, this is the first one.
It's
The very first.
It don't need to be the last.
No,
I think this is good.
it's not gonna be the last one. Actually, we might
Yes.
have it, we might move this show for one day, maybe out downtown Dallas, you never know.
Exciting.
We're
Exciting.
we're moving all the time, so that's what it's all about.
All
But
right.
so when are we gonna get to see the chef?
Well, let's go. Let's move over and meet the chef.
Yes,
Okay,
let's move over.
So, should
The
we ask
executive
our
director
producer,
said we
and
can
then our
move.
producer?
Yep.
Thank you very much.
All right, here we go.
Here's Chef Paul, everybody.
Hello,
Chef
Amazing.
Oh, good to, oh my gosh, what an amazing, I think our producer is, got all this under control here, my goodness. Have you been feeding the producer, because it's only munching over there?
It's only fair to do that. It's only fair. We have to taste and see.
Yes, well, there's a couple of questions I have for you.
Sure.
You grew
Yeah.
up in an Orthodox home.
I did.
I grew up in an Orthodox home.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, so I always look at an Orthodox home, and we both married outside the Orthodox world.
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of unusual?
Yeah.
Because the Orthodox families is kind of a,
Yeah.
So when you met, were you working in Washington, and what were you doing?
Well, I was the food and beverage manager while he was the chef at the
thank you,
hotel.
Peggy.
Well, when you work 6, 7 days a week,
Yeah.
those are cheap days. I mean, every holiday,
Yes.
every weekend, it's like,
I'm
hey,
sure.
here you are. Well, we spend lots of times together. We were good friends to begin with, and then
That's
it
what it
turned
takes.
into
Well,
something
that is
else.
so
That's
wonderful.
what
I
it
wanted
takes.
to get a little bit of the inside, because I'm like, okay, how did you? Well, I gotta tell you, that's the way I met my husband.
Yeah.
He was going to do a show for Elizabeth Taylor. I was doing a project for the Warwick Hotel,
Okay.
which is the Melrose. It was the
Oh,
Melrose,
the
it's the
Melrose.
Warwick Hotel.
Okay. In
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 Dallas.
Dallas,
Yeah.
yes. But when I was doing a project for them, the real estate side, it was the Melrose, not the Melrose Warwick Hotel.
Okay.
And if you walk in there, you'll see the library. My husband created all that.
Wow.
He was
Okay.
the executive chef. I was flown in for one special Elizabeth Taylor, when she was doing the
Okay.
diamond.
Wow.
Remember the diamond?
The diamond, that's a perfume?
Oh, yeah.
Perfume?
Yes, that was
So,
a popular
Yeah,
perfume.
it was, yes, so they brought her in and we had our restaurants and everything, but they wanted him to come because he did ice carving, so he could, he
Okay.
had ice carved a diamond.
Oh.
With lights inside. And that's where it
Nice.
was.
Okay.
She was then married to Hamilton, the young man that she met up there, where she had wedding for
Oh, two at the end, one of the last
Yeah,
husbands.
the last husbands, yes, it was back in 1981, 82.
Yeah.
And the Melrose now is, of course, one of the most popular hotels. But that's how I met him. So he came in to do the show, and I said, I knew that guy.
Oh, okay.
That was in March, and we got married. April,
Wow.
May, June, July. We got married 3 times. So.
Smart.
Okay.
Smart move there.
Yes, yes.
Well, you
So we
picked
were
a
married
good
for
one.
30 years on that one. So
Yeah.
Wow.
so that's. But oh my gosh, so you've done it. So what do you tell us a little bit about? First of all, tell us a little bit about what happened when you graduated from the cuisine.
Right.
L'Academie de Cuisine.
Where did you go? What was your?
Well, how far do you want me to go back?
Well, exactly.
Go back to.
So with all chefs, we all started in the dish room. We all started,
Absolutely, yeah.
humbly,
Humble.
you
Yeah.
know, coming up in the ranks.
Yes.
And before I went to L'Academie de Cuisine in DC, I actually worked for some great chefs that influenced me into moving forward in my career. So I started actually in a pub in
Where?
Maryland,
In Maryland.
Really?
and that was actually right out of high school.
Wow.
And so what influenced me is I started there as a busboy,
I love
and he needed somebody to help in the dish. So I would wash dishes, go out and bus tables, and then one day the gentleman who makes the pizzas didn't show up. He said, "Hey, Paul, I need you to come and help me make pizzas." So I started making the pizzas, and then he promoted me to putting the pizzas. Back then it was, we made the dough and then rolled out the sheets. We sold like 100, 200
Wow.
pizzas, so we were busy. Then the guy who was cooking the pizzas didn't show up. So I started cooking the pizzas, and then
What a
6 months
setup.
later, I was the kitchen manager.
The key
Wow.
to success, show up.
Yes.
Show up.
Yeah.
Just show up.
Show up. Just show up.
Exactly.
But you know, this is a problem in the Russian world.
Yeah.
People, they don't call you, they just don't show up.
Well, now,
Mm.
but back in the
Back
day.
in the day, yeah, because we started on our business and that my husband, you know, we had cafeterias, and you always had the problem is the chef doesn't show up, what are you gonna do?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
train somebody else real quick to come into your meeting,
Exactly.
so I wanna ask you, because I wanna go back in the Jewish, in your Jewish life. How'd your parents feel, you had a kosher kitchen at home, was that?
Well,
Or no?
growing up when I was when we lived on Tremont Avenue in the
Uh-huh.
Bronx,
In the
and
Bronx,
that was
yeah.
basically an all Orthodox Jewish community.
Yes.
Actually, there was a lot of Holocaust survivors who
Yes.
owned businesses there. We had Eli's Grocery, we had Saul's Barber Shop.
I remember Saul's
Mhm.
Barber Shop.
Yeah.
My family had in downtown New York had had a big restaurant, and then we had a deli in the
Oh,
Bronx.
okay.
And so I used to go to the Bronx with my mother. We had a
Yeah,
home in southern New York.
yeah.
But I remember that when I was a kid. So it amazes me as a very Orthodox, as an Orthodox home,
Yeah.
that you were allowed to go work in
Well,
You said allowed. Can you
grow,
say that again? You said allowed. I don't understand that.
Orthodox.
Allowed.
Allowed. Yes,
Allowed.
allowed. Because, you know, your parent, when you're raised in an Orthodox home, your parents come
Oh,
first.
very
and-
Gotcha.
Your parents and your
So
children, you know.
growing up, my parents weren't very Orthodox,
Okay,
but my
okay.
grandmother
But,
Okay.
My
So-
grandfather passed away before I was born. But my grandmother was very, you know, she was
Strict.
controlling
I know, I grew up on that, yes.
family.
Tell them what your grandmother used to call you.
No.
Tell me.
Well, she used to call, you know, because I used to touch her kosher dishes.
Yeah.
And
She was,
he mixed them up.
Yeah.
Oh,
The little pig.
oh, you put the milk together with
Yes.
the cheese,
Yeah,
oh,
so-
what do you
dishes.
call you, the high?
Yiddish for pig.
He just mixed the dishes, because the dishes
need
had
that.
to be
Yeah,
separated,
so
the kosher
you
dishes
cannot
from
touch
the
them.
non-kosher.
You cannot touch
Right.
them, yeah.
so growing up again, you know, the whole neighborhood was, and at that time, as you know, each community had their own synagogue.
Yeah.
But the problem is that the synagogue I went to back then, the rabbis only spoke Yiddish or Hebrew. So the services weren't in English.
English, yeah.
So I had to learn
I don't know another
Hebrew.
thing.
So, yeah, so
You had a
growing
lot
up
of
in,
Hasidic Jews too then, didn't you?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
well, there's big Hasidic
Hasidic,
communities,
yeah.
not in the Bronx actually, they were more in
Outside.
Brooklyn, and in Queens. I don't know, the Orthodox lived
Yeah.
in there. So, yeah, so growing up was really interesting. Got to meet a lot of people that were, you know,
They were exciting. What brought you to Texas?
well, we're fast forwarding pretty fast.
Well, I know, yeah. We're ready to New York. You see, it smells. We got a smell here.
Well, let me start with this
Yes,
and then we can
I'll
talk
yes,
as I go.
yes,
So
yes.
today I'm gonna prepare 2 dishes for you
Okay,
guys that
okay.
we
Sounds
actually,
Where's-
these are 2 dishes that we've served at the Forum at Park Lane. It's our retirement community. That I've been there 17 years. Great community. It was actually one of the original upscale retirement communities that
Okay.
So actually, so what we're gonna prepare today is a crab and shrimp enchilada stuffed
Yum,
with
okay.
Yukon potatoes.
Okay.
Yukon.
Okay.
Oh my God,
Yes.
Yukon potatoes.
Yukon potatoes. So we're gonna start a little with olive oil. I'm gonna
Okay.
cook the shrimp.
Oh my goodness. This is when you would like to see your TV 4D, that you can smell through the
4D,
TV
huh?
screen.
Yeah, you said 4D.
So we're cooking the shrimp. We're gonna get that going. I prepared a little bit ahead because of the time. So I actually stuffed the enchiladas already. But we have, you know, I made our Yukon potato. It has butter, heavy cream, and scallions.
Okay.
And it's all pepper.
Now, if
Is that a
if
big-
you're watching, this is an absolutely delicious plate. And it what is that green? Is that
So
parsley or
no,
onion?
that's green onion.
Green
So,
onion.
so what we're gonna do is we're going to stuff the enchilada with Yukon potato.
Is that the, okay, so
Yeah,
did you
It's a
make
little-
that
yeah.
as reference like a regular, like mixing like a regular potatoes, red potatoes? What type of potato?
no,
did you
actually,
use?
this is Yukon gold
Yukon
potatoes. So
Okay.
they're called Yukon gold potatoes.
Okay.
Sweet. So we stuff our enchilada first, and we roll it up.
It's corn tortillas, right?
Yeah, we use
Okay.
corn tortillas.
Okay,
We kind of, when you make it, we actually cook it in a little olive oil to start the enchilada because the corn tortilla needs to get cooked a little bit so it
Okay.
doesn't crack when you're cooking.
all right.
So we're gonna turn these. This is actually a very popular dish at the
Mm.
Forum. When we had it on the menu, we actually changed our menu just recently.
Okay,
So we're gonna cook off the shrimp and then we're going to make our sauce. Our sauce is gonna be salsa and sour cream. Pretty simple, right? So you can either make your salsa from scratch, which I did already prepare it, sorry. Or you can use your favorite salsa that you like.
Store-bought.
Store-bought. Then,
Wow.
yeah. So, yeah, so back to my career. So I lived in New York for 18 years growing up. I worked at some restaurants, not as a cook, actually as a busboy. So even as a busboy, you know, I was talking to Tavion about, you know, even though my experience, I still learn from everybody in the kitchen that comes to the kitchen. So I have dishwashers that are very important in the operation. A
Absolutely.
dishwasher cannot run a business, but you know, guess what? That dishwasher, we're a 4-star restaurant.
yeah.
He picked up a lot of things.
Lot of
Mhm.
Because
things.
as a dishwasher, you're not only washing dishes, you're also
Listen.
preparing. You're
Yeah.
prepping.
Yes.
The chef guys
That's
are cutting
important.
onions
Yes.
and potatoes.
Mhm.
When I was a dishwasher in a 4-star restaurant, I had to peel potatoes, peel onions, peel carrots. That's the stuff, that's the basic stuff. You're learning. You think you're not learning, but you're consistently learning. It's similar to, Karate Kid, on,
Right,
right?
the basics.
You don't
Yeah.
know, you think you're not, you think
Mhm.
you're not learning anything,
Yes,
but you're actually learning a lot.
right.
So as I was coming up, I worked with some great chefs.
Mhm.
I had to get a second job back then.
Sure.
And I actually got a job at Denny's. Everybody goes,
Oh, I love Denny.
but guess what? The cooks at Denny's are the fastest breakfast cooks in the world. I mean, they flip eggs. They could cook 10 omelets at one time. In the back, there's burners. They have 10 omelets going at the same time. They're pretty fast. And that's how I picked up my speed in cooking.
Okay.
Look at those shrimp.
Oh, my God.
So cook those shrimp, and now we're gonna start our sauce.
All right, well, let's take a second and we're gonna talk about this beautiful venue.
Oh my gosh, yes, this is a
Yeah,
purple
Purple Cow
cup branding. This is for our
branding.
studio,
Thanks,
yes.
Rob.
Thank you, Rob. Where's Rob?
Rob is,
He
he's
hasn't
working.
smelled the
He's
fish,
working
the shrimp yet.
Yeah.
Thank
The
you
meeting
so much.
place, the meeting place.
We're at the Purple Cow Branding Studio. This is where we do our podcast, and we're doing the first and last Saturday of every month from 11 to 1. And before that, we kind of hang out and bring wonderful guests, just like tall glasses.
Thank you for having me
And we
today.
had our chief of police from Carrollton, Chief Arredondo. We had people from all over the world.
Yes,
it's
we have.
really good.
So, and we invite you to come on our Saturdays. We have a good, wonderful location. We have the meeting place. It's Purple Cow Branding Studio with Alexandra and Friends in the meeting place.
Right here in Farmers
Wow.
Branch.
Can you
Yes.
imagine? You
Dallas,
never
Texas.
know. Today you could have had a little lunch. So we're so excited. And please follow us up. Our Facebook is Alexandra and Friends. And we have also our YouTube.
YouTube, yes.
YouTube.
So find us there. We go back 150 podcasts. I mean,
Wow.
so
Absolutely.
take a look.
I love YouTube. I
I
watch
do.
it all day, every day, and yes,
That's awesome.
you can tell.
Yeah.
Alexandra and Friends. Oh, my YouTube. So just
YouTube. Oh, all right. Well, YouTube, it's fantastic, and I have my book published a year ago, Torah Tasting, and I'm working on my audio book.
yeah, it's right here by Paul.
Oh, right
Yes.
here by
Yep.
Paul.
Yes.
Very
Rob
good.
moved over there,
Yes.
and so my audiobook will be ready by Christmas and Hanukkah
Awesome.
this year. So I'm very excited about
Yeah,
Yes.
She's been working really hard on that.
That's
Happy,
great.
very
I'll be
fine.
calling you in a few minutes because I need to do the same. I'm the Joy in Music and Movement, and I'm located at www.joyofmm.org.
it. All right.
And I'm
Thank
Alexandra, and I am the host of Alexandra and Friends, and also I'm in the real estate world. So I do investments and real estate. So follow up Alexandra and Friends. Follow me.
Thank you. Now
Thank you.
we're back to Chef Paul here. Wow.
What are you adding, Mr. Chef?
So we're making the sauce for this enchilada, which is very easy, like I said.
Is that considered like a sour cream sauce? They say
Yeah.
a white sauce, sour cream sauce.
So it has sour cream, the
Mhm.
salsa. You can either make it yourself, like I said, or you can just use store-bought, your favorite store-bought.
You know, Chef Paul, you got some guests here today that they're not gonna let us have anything to eat because they're here to be the tasters,
Taste.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Taste.
fine.
The
That's fine.
key word
We
is
like
taste.
that.
I
It's
think I
tasty.
got
Yeah,
enough.
The
Taste and
tasters.
see.
Yes,
I think I got
taste.
enough,
Taste
for
and
them to
see.
taste.
It makes you want to make that at home so you
Yeah.
can
And
have
also,
more.
Chef, are you available for private events?
No, not really.
Not right-
Really.
not in
I mean,
this-
I could, depends on who it is, if it's you, for sure.
He's very selective.
Oh, that's
He's
pretty
very
good.
selective.
Yeah, that means
Having a party,
something.
Right?
Yeah, I used to do a lot of catering, actually, in my career, I worked for a company called Design Cuisine, which was the premier caterer in Washington DC. We did, actually, we did all the presidential large functions.
Yes, that's what
DC.
I was saying.
They would rent out places like the Union Station in Washington, the
Pension
Cochrane
building.
Museum.
Yeah.
This is
So yeah, that was just some stuff I brought in for everybody to see. So
Is it
so
John
back
Dewey?
so my career. I moved to Washington D.C., Maryland. Before I actually started cooking, and that's when I worked at the pub to start.
The pub.
Yeah, and so, after that, I went to work actually at a country club.
Mm-hmm.
Private.
Private country club.
Well, yeah,
Private.
so, 10 years of my career was in country clubs. So-
Okay.
So I started in a country club where I met my friend Peter. James, he was actually from Germany, from Hamburg. And so me and him became friends and kind of mentored me because he trained in Germany. And so, we went over all the basic stuff, sauces. Actually, the chef there was also from Germany. And so back then, the chefs would not let you on the line to cook until they trusted you. So a lot of the things I had to do, for instance, was we had to put beans in a saute pan,
Mm-hmm.
and you had to be able to flip the beans without dropping any in order to start on the saute station. That was one of the tests that you had to do.
Yeah, I tried that one time.
Yeah. Exactly.
Bill went to the farm, did like this, and,
I think pancakes is the easiest thing to
I
start.
tried that too, and it just went right down the floor.
And
Start with pancakes.
So cooking for French chefs. French chefs use everything.
Mm-hmm.
They don't let you throw anything away, from the chicken
Yeah.
all the way to
All the
fish
bones.
bones. And we used to, when we cooked, we only was allowed to use 2 saute pans. So we had to keep a bucket of soap water and plain water.
Okay.
And after
Wow.
you would cook, you would quickly
Know how
clean
much
them
Rinse
you
them
and
out.
put them back up and
Okay.
dry them, and then
Go
keep
again.
going
Interesting.
again.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
good.
so after that country club, I worked with Peter. I went to another country club called Lakewood Country Club, where I spent 10 years of my career there. I worked under a couple of chefs there, and then eventually became the chef. So I worked there for about 4 years as the executive chef, but my career needed to go past that. So I needed to work more to learn. So I actually quit there as executive chef and went to work at Congressional Country Club.
Oh, wow. You're
which
moving
was-
up.
Yeah, which was the premier country club. We did the Kemper Open, we did the US Open. Actually, I worked there at that time when actually Tiger Woods first started,
Wow.
coming on the scene. And that was like a big deal.
Oh,
We
yeah,
would
I'm
have-
sure.
Yeah.
So we would do like 25,000 people a day coming through the course. And so I started there as the men's grill chef. And I had this really great recipe for crab cakes. So who comes in the kitchen, when I was preparing stuff, was Senator John Glenn.
Oh, my
So I
gosh.
got to meet Senator John Glenn, the astronaut.
Yeah,
So,
so
it was a great experience
I bet
there.
that was.
And then I moved on up to become the chef chef in there. And it was funny because my kitchen had windows facing the back and front of the building of the country club. So we always knew when the president was coming, because we'd see the motorcade coming, and I would scream, "President!" Everybody would run downstairs.
Yeah.
At that particular time, it was George Bush Sr. and Vice President, who is that?
You just took my whole thing away. No.
No. But anyway, so he would come through the back, so everybody would line up, and we would meet the president, and the vice president was actually a member there. I used to see him all the time. So that was the experience I had at Congressional Country Club. I met Tip O'Neill.
Oh, my gosh. What a great man that was.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then went from there. I went back to Lakewood Country Club where I spent another 3 years. And then I left there and went to work at Design Cuisine, which is the catering company. I worked there for about a year. And that was really hard. Catering is very hard. We would have to get there at 5 a.m. and we would work until about 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. But at Design Cuisine, we used to have about 30 parties a day. So we would really be hustling. And then we would go out and actually execute the parties and stuff. So,
I know catering is really hard because I worked it in college, and the setup right here, this is like catering. You have to take everything with you. You don't have equipment. Where are you going to?
Right.
It could be someone's home. It could be a museum. It could be any building or someone's office, big events, small events. You bring food, all the tools and everything. And so it's a lot harder than a building already has everything, and you just do it there and then you do the cleaning up. And
many times you forget stuff.
Many times,
That's
we did,
makeshift
that was our company.
stuff.
It was Dan Quayle, the president.
Dan Quayle, that's right.
I
Yeah, Dan
forgot
Quayle.
about that, yeah.
So it was funny because I was working in the
Potatoes.
men's grill and I happened to go out to the bar to get something, and he just became the vice president. And one of the senators that was already there, a congressman, I forgot who it was, said Dan Quayle had walked into Men's Grill, and they said, "Hey Dan, I heard you got a raise." So it was so funny to hear that. But I was among.
It was among, you were among the wheelers and the dealers,
Yeah. So it was really great.
So how long were you, how long was your career there?
At Congressional, so I worked there for 4 years,
4
and then
years.
went back to Chicago, left there to catering. Then I became the chef de cuisine at the Omni Shoreham Hotel, where I met my lovely wife, Ellen, who
Oh,
is the food and
Omni.
beverage director.
The Omni in New York?
in
No.
Washington,
Washington
D.C.
DC.
Actually, it wasn't the Omni.
It wasn't
at
the
that time.
Omni,
Actually, it was the Shoreham Hotel
The
at
Shoreham
the time.
Hotel.
So that was built in the early 1900s, and it was really fascinating
Unbelievable.
hotel
Yeah.
because it was built on a whole city block, and they added as they went. So it was all disconnected.
right by the state park.
Yeah.
Oh, the state.
Yeah.
And Frank Sinatra, Marilyn
Yeah, back in
Monroe.
the day, that
Everybody
was
was-
where all
everybody-
the.
They would hang out there.
Actually, Elvis Presley came there before he became big. Yeah. and
Sort of like the
Frank
Melrose
Sinatra.
Hotel.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah. I'll
famous-
tell you a story about the
Yeah, I have
Melrose.
to tell the story.
So it was really fascinating because when it was built, it had a farm behind it because it was Washington D.C. back then was just farmland, and they had their own cattle and their own produce, and they would bring it in. Remember, we went down. They had their own butcher shops, and it was just great. Actually, there was a story at the the Shoreham that a mafia lived upstairs. They used to have condos upstairs, and supposedly they got murdered.
Oh, that sounds like an
they,
exciting
had-
movie.
They had a ghost suite.
Oh, that
It's
sounds
called
like an
the Ghost-
exciting movie.
It's called the Ghost Suite. Yeah, so that was pretty interesting. Yeah. But at the Shoreham, I got to cook for Bill Clinton
Wow.
when he was the president.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the Omni Shoreham was a Democratic hotel, and right across the street, the Sheraton
Was
was
it
was the
Republican
Republican
Hotel? Yeah.
hotel. And I actually was working in DC when Reagan was
The president of the world,
yeah,
yes.
was at the Hilton when he attempted.
He's done a lot of great
That was
things.
that was who the assassination was.
Yeah,
From there, they took him out.
You have to
yeah.
share the story, what you cooked for President Bill Clinton.
so it's really
Hamburgers.
it's really interesting. So when the president goes to somewhere, he doesn't just eat the food that's there because we don't know what's going on. So there was his assistant there, and he brought in this.
I mean, the Secret Service.
Secret Service.
Well, it wasn't Secret
It
Service.
was his
it was
assistant, his first one, because he's the one
follows
that
him
tasted.
around.
Okay.
Tasters.
So
multiple people.
me and him had to lift this stainless steel 9-gauge
Mm.
box that had this huge lock and presidential tape all around it. And so when we had to cook for him, me and him had to go to the walk-in, take it to the table, and he cut off all the tapes. And inside was lamb chops, a fillet, a fish, because we didn't know what he was going to eat. So I had to prepare all of it. And so I thought I was going to get to serve the president, but I didn't get to serve him. The Secret Service threw me out of the room, but it was
But it
pretty
was an
interesting.
experience.
Yeah,
wow.
it was a good experience.
So what did he end up eating?
I don't know.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, he got
They
thrown
don't
out.
tell you.
Actually, people pay a lot of money to be at his table, so
Oh,
I
I'm
don't
sure.
think
I'm
he eats.
sure.
I'm
I
sure.
don't think the president eats
Yeah,
because
he's
he's
talking, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. So after the, you asked me how I got to Texas. Actually, when I worked for a company called Weingarten and Hammonds, and I opened up a hotel in Maryland for them, and they asked me to go to Ohio to open another hotel. And so at that time, I went and we moved. And, you know, I asked Eleanor to come with me, and she said, well, if we're not married, I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not moving with a fiance.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
ladies.
ladies. Listen, ladies, listen to Elena.
Yep, you gotta.
So I went back and I proposed, and we got married, and we moved to Ohio. We lived there for about a year and a half.
Okay. And how many years now? How many years you been married? How many years up
almost
to date?
27 years.
27 years.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's
Listen,
congratulations.
wow.
No,
27
because
years.
you
awesome.
got the number right.
Oh, okay, wonderful. You did something
So
right.
small.
It's almost to our
Anniversary.
anniversary.
Yeah.
Okay.
January.
January,
wonderful.
you know, we'll have to celebrate.
Yes,
Yes,
awesome.
yes.
Can we go back to your dish? Because I think our listeners are
Oh,
wanting to
sorry.
see how you're going to
Here we go.
complete-
So we prepared the sauce.
Okay.
We prepared the sauce.
Are you going to top it with these great things that I see in front of you?
Yeah. So
You just
we're
can't wait to
going
eat some of this.
Yes.
What we got.
This is, it's looking really good. It's the assembling.
And the wonderful.
Sorry, I lost track of what we were
It's
doing
easy to
there,
do.
so,
It has
yeah.
to do.
It's easy to do.
What?
So
Getting into the holidays, you.
So again, this is enchiladas. We
Okay.
stuffed the flour tortilla with Yukon
No,
potato.
corn
That's
tortillas.
Corn tortillas, sorry.
Okay,
Sorry.
no, you're fine. I do have a question. For the sauce that you
Yeah.
have there, okay, that's what I was getting ready to ask you. You
Yeah.
need to loosen it up a little bit.
Well, it depends, yeah, so I like to loosen it up because the corn tortilla is gonna
Right,
soak
soak
in
it
the
up,
sauce.
right.
Yeah, so that's what you want.
Right. And I also have another question.
Yeah.
Like, question that I have, when you make that sauce, you use salsa, you use
Sour
sour
cream.
cream. Okay, can I use something to make it a little bit sweet? Can I put a little bit of whipping cream if I want to put a little whipping cream
Yeah,
in
you
it?
could put some heavy cream in it if
Okay.
you want.
Just to
Thin
give it
out,
a
you can
little
use
sweet
that.
taste.
You can use it to
How about
thin it
habanero
out.
peppers?
You can put whatever you want if you want to make it that, if you want to make it spicier, sure.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Thank
So
you.
beautiful.
So for those, I'm just thinking, for those who might be dairy intolerant, can they use like a alternative, like coconut milk? or-
Yeah. I don't know if you want, yeah,
That
that's gonna
also brings the
definitely,
sweetness.
it's definitely gonna change the flavor.
Right. Okay, okay.
You
Yeah,
never know.
I mean, you know, when you're cooking
Mhm.
and you follow the recipe, it's, you know, you do the first recipe that you followed so you can see what the actual recipe looks like. After that, you start adding, that's how you become, you know, it becomes yours.
Exactly,
Because you start
exactly.
adding other things to it.
That becomes your
Imitation
recipe.
crab? Is this imitation
Yeah,
crab?
I'm sorry. So this is, yeah, I'm using imitation crab,
Okay.
which
Looks
is
great.
made with pollock and crab
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. So, and then we're gonna take our shrimp.
That's delicious. I can blacken them shrimps, right?
Yeah, you can blacken them. Yeah.
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 And this recipe, this dish is, what's the name of it?
This is a stuffed enchilada with Yukon Gold potatoes,
Mm-hmm. You come.
sauteed shrimp and crab. And then
Okay.
also, we're going to garnish it with some spring onions.
Okay.
Mhm.
I love green onions.
Presentation. is
Presentation
Yes.
and everything.
And
Yes.
then we're gonna take some feta cheese.
Yes,
Ooh,
yes, yes.
Is this your creation, Chef?
Yeah, actually,
So this is
well,
just-
it was a recipe that I seen, but
Mhm.
actually I kind of morphed it into my own.
Okay, I like
Good.
that, I like that. Mm-hmm.
So.
Parsley, is that fresh
No,
parsley?
this is cilantro.
cilantro.
So we're gonna put a
Okay.
lot of cilantro on it.
Okay.
because I like a lot of cilantro.
Okay,
Cilantro there. And then we're going to also garnish it
Love the
with,
way she's got the
with,
lemons.
yeah, you
The
blackened them
roasted
lemons, that's good.
lemons.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Oh,
okay.
and there you go. So,
Wow.
Nice.
so this is an actual dish that we serve at the Forum at Park Lane, our retirement community. So our residents actually get to experience real food.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
So very healthy. So I want to talk a little bit about the forum. So you've been at the forum for how long?
I've been there 17 years.
17
Wow.
years.
So,
So you specialize in food that is healthy?
somewhat. Some of the food is healthy. Depends on the resident's diet.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
So we have all types of food from healthy to not so healthy.
Right.
It depends on what the residents eat.
Okay.
So I'll give you, for instance, when I first started there, coming from a background of culinary, I thought that retirement community, healthy food,
Bland?
bland,
Yes,
no.
yes,
These are
Good.
world travelers.
right.
These are world, people that traveled the world that
Mhm.
know what
Go to fine
what
dining
things
places.
look like.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes,
And they want that.
yes.
They don't want,
Yeah.
but they also understand their diets and if it's a low sodium or whatever their diet
Good
is.
day,
Right.
whatever
they-
their diet.
Yeah, we talk about it. So I will sit down with our residents if they're having a issue with inflammation
Right.
or weight. And
Right,
we'll go through the menus and I will discuss with them, I would stay away from this, maybe get the sauces on the side. We use mostly all low sodium bases and stocks. We cook most of our food from scratch, our bakery. So
Wow.
we bake all our desserts, so knowing what goes in our food. So I can actually talk with the residents, telling them what actually is in there, not, oh, I don't know, it came out of a box. We don't do that. So, and so I wanted to prepare another
Okay.
salad
Yes.
entree that we also feature at the
Okay.
forum.
Yes.
okay.
This is a Florentine salad with grilled chicken.
Paul, just because we've been
Yeah.
talking about the forum, tell us a little bit where the forum is located, what kind of retirement it is, just because we're talking
Right,
about them, I
right.
want them to know that they were part of our show today.
Great. So the forum is a CRC, which is a continuing community of levels of care. We do not have we do not have healthcare anymore. We got out of that. So we do have a great assisted living and independent living.
Okay.
So offers all the services. I get feedback when residents come to see us, how great our community looks, but more so the people that work in our community. When you walk in, you just feel that presence
Awesome.
of wanting to serve. And so the residents really feel at home at our community. We have residents that have been there as long as I've been there. They've seen our kids grow up there. So
And where is this located?
this is located in 7831 Park Lane, which is right across the street from North Park Mall.
Oh,
Okay.
great, so that's
So-
convenient for the.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, we'd love to have people come in
Do
and
a
tour
tour.
and maybe have lunch with us. So just call us and, set up an interview. Set up a tour.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
have lunch
fine.
with us. So-
I know, that is
Many of
absolutely-
the residents,
Uh-huh.
they made the decision to move into the forum because of the food. And I know that, people would go to have brunch at the Ritz-Carlton and the Four Seasons, and then they have brunch at the Forum. They go, oh my gosh, this is better than the Four Seasons, than the Ritz-Carlton. And I can vouch for that because I've eaten at both places, brunch and so it's very important when you stay somewhere and the food is consistent and amazing every day.
Yes, it is.
It's like flying on an airplane.
Hey.
You
Or
don't,
more of like a cruise ship.
But, yeah, or the hospital, how's that?
okay, what are
No,
you
not
doing?
really.
I was getting ready to ask that. I think I seen,
Sorry, so I'm making our citrus
Uh-huh.
vinaigrette, which
Uh-huh.
has orange juice, lemon juice,
orange juice and
Honey.
lemon juice.
garlic.
Honey,
What is
garlic,
that? What is that? Is that garlic?
Honey?
Yeah, honey and
Garlic.
garlic.
Oh my God.
orange juice and
Oh
lemon
my
juice.
God.
Garlic.
Lemon juice, orange juice,
So it's a pretty simple
Honey.
dressing.
and
And then we're gonna whisk in
Uh-huh.
some olive oil.
Oil. Okay.
love that citrus.
We actually prepare this in a blender, but you can also do it as you so we're gonna add a little Dijon mustard to stabilize the dressing here.
Fresh salad dressing is great.
So that's that's it. That's our dressing
You're
here.
listening to Alexandra and Friends at the Purple Cow Branding Studio at the Meeting Place. You can find us on Alexandra and Friends Facebook or on YouTube. We'd love to have you. We'd love to invite you to be here in person and take the delight of meeting awesome guests and doing so many different things. We have authors, we have chefs, we have detectives, we have police officers, filmmakers. We have just a tremendous amount of different roles, and all our guests are from all over the world, and they all have a story. So we'd love to invite you.
Yes. Ooh, look at
We'd love
this
to invite you.
salad.
Oh my gosh, look at this. Is this
So
spinach?
we
Is
got
this spinach?
so
Oh,
we
my
have
favorite.
spinach that I have julienne, fresh spinach, and we're going to
What are those,
add
chef?
sun-dried tomatoes.
Oh.
We're going to add some capers, a little salt, black olives,
Ugh.
sliced,
Healthy and
Pitted.
delicious.
I can eat that.
Mm.
and then we're gonna put some fresh diced tomatoes,
Mhm.
and then we're gonna put orzo pasta.
Also pasta. Oh.
Orzo pasta is a pasta that looks similar to rice.
Oh, I've never seen that.
And then we're going to put grilled chicken that we grilled earlier. So I'm gonna go ahead and slice this up.
Looks good. Well, we have 90 degrees in Texas this week, so that's refreshing. Very refreshing.
Yeah, so it could be a fall salad because of the spinach
Mm.
and the pasta, grilled chicken.
Well,
Right.
spinach is
I see.
absolutely so delicious.
So we're going to now toss this with our vinaigrette.
Mm-hmm,
Okay, we're gonna dress it.
mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna mix this up.
Oh,
Wow.
Mm.
Oh, it smells so good.
So the vinaigrette is just glazing the salad. We don't wanna overdress it. You
Okay.
can
I
always
was going
cook
to
it.
ask you that.
Yeah, so in
Okay.
cooking, there's always that
Mhm.
you can put, you can't take out, you can put in
Right.
a little, but you can't take
Take
it out.
out,
So
right.
you let the residents, if they wanna add more.
More they can.
Right.
Okay.
So we're gonna add also feta cheese.
Mm.
I can hear somebody back there. Mm,
Yes.
mm. Some of our guests are going,
Wow.
I know, right? So I noticed that your chicken was seasoned.
Yeah,
So that's the only thing you need to make sure that your chicken is seasoned, correct?
right. So the chicken is
Mhm.
marinated, it's actually has a lemon pepper seasoning with a little
Okay,
olive
lemon
oil.
pepper, okay,
Yeah, with olive oil.
okay.
And then we grill it. So this is one of the
This is an actual salad that we serve. Actually, it's up next week, our salad. This one is.
So that's actually a full meal, right?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes the residents will order a half of a portion because, it's too big for them. But, yeah,
It's party. It's a party meal.
so, that is our quarantine salad. We're gonna finish it off with a little, feta cheese on top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's our,
Are you using?
no, I'm not gonna use Parmesan in this.
Okay.
So this is
Okay.
our,
Well, that is
Well,
so
it's good.
beautiful.
lemon citrus.
Absolutely so
Salad,
beautiful.
Smells delicious.
Yeah.
On the rice noodles, can that be purchased at Tom Thumb or do I have to?
Orzo
The
pasta.
orzo pasta,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah, so
And
orzo pasta can be purchased anywhere.
Anywhere?
Yeah.
What did you call it?
Orzo pasta.
Also pasta.
So it's-
Orzo.
Orzo.
O-R-S-O.
I don't
So
cook,
me
you know.
personally, when I buy pasta, I always
Uh-huh.
get the Checo. That's the
Checo.
brand. It's a family-run business in Italy, actually. And so sometimes when they go on vacation,
Mhm.
so some of the different pastas, like say fettuccine or the orzo or the penne pasta, if they run out of it and they go on vacation, they're out. You can't find the Checo until they come back from
Checo.
vacation.
Okay.
Yeah, so the whole family goes down, they shut the whole factory down, and we can't get any of it until they get back.
And what do you call the salad?
This is a Florentine salad
Florentine
with a
salad.
lemon citrus vinaigrette.
Florentine
Alright.
salad.
One
Wow.
thing I do want to share is that I know Paul has cooked for presidents and senators and famous people. But someone that he's most honored to have cooked for is the White House chef.
Henry Holler.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
So
Well, tell
Henry
us the
Ho-
story
so
about
Henry Holler was the chef at the White House for 30 years. I believe.
For 5 presidents.
I believe it was, I can't remember what was the last president that he cooked for, but actually, so the way I met Henry was, so the way I met Henry was he came to the country club, Lakewood Country Club he was speaking to the ladies. And,
Oh, good, the book.
and he came in the kitchen, and Henry Holler was an awesome chef. He was a working chef, although he worked at the White House as executive chef. He was a worker. He came in the kitchen. I was expecting. He came in the kitchen, and he was dressed in a seersucker suit, and he had working boots on.
Mm.
And so he came in.
Ready to work.
And he came in, I think I served smoked salmon and I can't remember the dish, but I think it was salmon. And he came in and he said, "Chef, thank you so much, great lunch." And he signed his book and gave me
Oh,
his
that
book
is
and
so
invited me down.
awesome.
But one of the other great things is the sous chef that worked with him at the
Yes.
White House. His brother taught me how to do ice carving. So that was my connection. He worked for this as a corporate baker for a supermarket, but he used to come in and do ice carvings for me, and he would teach me how to do ice carvings.
Oh, how awesome.
So, yeah, so I got to meet a lot of people. Also, L'Academie de Cuisine, who taught us baking and pastries, was the pastry chef from the White House, Roland Nizam. So I got to meet Roland as well.
Well, before we give any more of anybody, let's taste our.
Let's taste it,
Let's do a little
yeah.
tasting.
Yeah,
Let people know.
so it might be a little chilly, but it also tastes great cold.
We'll get back to you in just a minute.
Salads is amazing.
Mm. Mm. The dressing,
That's good.
Mm.
Wow.
Like I say, Fox News doesn't have anything on us, you know?
No.
They don't get to do all this good stuff.
All right.
Oh.
But they do eat. They do.
Yeah.
They eat.
So we have a great time at the forum, cooking
Mm.
and doing different stuff.
The salad
It's
is
amazing.
amazing.
Mhm.
Thank you.
This is delicious. Let's give it a mom.
Wow. I can taste the garlic in the
Yeah.
dressing.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you can roast the garlic, so it's not as potent
Mhm.
in there. So we would do that as well.
Yes, I was gonna say raw garlic might be a little
Yeah.
bit.
Well, we just
Much.
wanna, we have to wrap it up.
Yeah.
It was absolutely amazing to have you on.
I appreciate you having
We
me.
were just, we
Yes,
looked
yes.
I got one final question. What is your recipe book coming out?
Recipe. Actually, the forum does have a recipe book that all the chefs throughout the company put together. I think we sold out of it. So.
Oh, that's good.
That is
That's
wonderful.
So,
Great.
yeah. So one of the projects that I was working on as well is we have a chef's table on Wednesdays,
Mhm.
once a month. And we were asking the residents to bring in their recipes that they grew up with.
Oh,
And we kind
awesome.
of modernize it and we cook it
Nice.
for them in front. They can invite their guests
Mm.
and family.
Nice.
Oh, that is so wonderful.
Yeah,
Okay,
we try.
okay, are we invited?
Sure, absolutely.
To do that.
Anytime
Yeah.
you like. Anytime
Yes.
you like. So, yeah. So again, we're at the forum at Park Lane. Please come and visit us.
Thank you,
Yes,
Chef. Is
thank
there
you.
anything
Yeah.
else that you want to leave us with?
No.
If somebody wants to call you and they say they want to book a big party and an excellent party, can
Yeah.
Can they
how
get
can they
you?
get hold of you?
Well, maybe they can call you first. and get my number.
You got my number.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so very much
Absolutely.
for joining
Thank
us
you,
today.
everybody.
This
Thank
is an
you.
amazing show.
This was great.
I want to thank our sponsor, Rob
Yes.
Bliss, for
Thanks,
allowing us
Rob.
to do
Rob,
this
thank you.
because
Yes.
Yeah. Please
Without
come and
Rob-
visit the Purple Cow.
Yes.
Rob is
Yeah.
awesome.
yeah,
meeting
the
place.
meeting place. So if you want to have, so I want to invite other chefs that want to come
Yeah.
here and do their
Absolutely.
cooking
Absolutely.
school.
Yes.
We'd love to have a cooking school and have them come and have guests come and learn how to cook.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't know how to cook, so don't,
Okay.
you know, I guess I'm gonna be the first one to come.
Yeah.
But this is it. This is what we do, Alexandra and Friends. Our topics are about life, health, wealth, and love. And all
Absolutely.
this comes under that. And we appreciate you so very
Yeah.
much and to
Thank
take
you
the
for
time
having us.
from your busy schedule to come and join us.
Yes.
What can I say? The food is delicious. Our guests are going to enjoy tasting it. And thank you again
Thank
for
you.
spending
Absolutely.
your time.
Absolutely.
Elena, is there anything that we need to?
No, I'm just glad y'all got to meet my amazing husband, Chef.
Well, he is
Yeah, thank
amazing.
you.
We do want to remind you that this month, even though Halloween is coming up, remember it's about mental health. Our country is in serious trouble with mental health. We need to talk about it more often. We'd like to invite you to come our next show. It will be on the
The
2nd of November.
Second.
And
Yes, and our guest is Sheena Rodriguez, and she has an organization that really advocates about border security in our country, because without the border, we don't have a nation. And so we would love to have you to come in person or join in and tune in to listen to Sheena. She has a lot of great information to what we need to do and be aware of.
And don't forget about the month. This is Breast Cancer Month.
exactly.
So we definitely want to support the women who are cancer-free like me.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Also, don't forget her grand opening right
November
after our
the 2nd.
podcast on November the 2nd.
Yeah.
And please go out and vote. Your vote is your personal invitation to our country to let them know how you
Vote,
feel.
vote.
Vote, vote, vote. I believe the
That's
last day of early voting is
November 1st.
November 1st. So thank you again for joining us on Alexandra and Friends. Remember Alexandra and Friends on Facebook, Alexandra and Friends on YouTube. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful weekend.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.